What's up, everybody? My name is Coach Jacob Cavazzuto. I'm the head trainer over at Cab Training, and in this video I'm going to give you guys 3 game speed drills to improve your route running. The reason why I call them game speed drills is because it's not all about speed, linear speed. It's game speed. How well do we do when we cut at different directions? How well do we accelerate and sprint and maintain our speed while we're moving in different ways? So as a receiver, you're braking at a whole bunch of different angles, you're moving in different ways, and this video will show you guys a couple drills that will help you along that path. So drill number 1 is a 45-degree break. So with the 45-degree break, this is your usual post or corner break. Now, the biggest thing that I want to differentiate from a lot of different people on when it comes to the 45-degree break is we want no change in speed at all. Okay, when you're changing direction, especially running a route as a wide receiver, you should be trying to minimize that decrease in speed in your break as much as possible, especially if you're trying to get into a zone as fast as possible, right? If you're playing against a man coverage defender, then you might have to give a little bit of a move or a rocker step. But on this particular drill, if we're trying to get in and out of the break as fast as possible, right, we don't want to change in speed. So we're going to start out at this cone right here. We're going to run full speed. Actually, forget all that. It's not going to be full speed. It's going to be about 85% speed. As a receiver, you just need to give the appearance of speed rather than run all out. Because if you run all out and you get to this cone, you're going to have to take a couple choppy steps to adjust your speed to make that break. So if you go 85%, which is smooth and still looks fast, right, you can get to this break point right here and break to the next cone without missing a beat. All right, and that's the point I want to make with all of these drills. It's not about speed, it's about how you control your speed. As a receiver, it's basically you have your inner speedometer, which is basically, if you're younger than driving car age, is basically the thing in your mom or dad's car that tells them how fast they're going. You want to have that inner thing in your mind that shows, okay, I'm going 85% right now, and I'm able to make this break without having to take any repositioning steps. All right, so with the 45-degree break, you're going to run 85% to the middle cone, and you're going to break right 5 times, and you're going to break left 5 times. Do this as part of your receiver training sessions, and your speed in and out of the break on your posts and corners are going to be better. The second game speed drill that will help you as a receiver is what I like to call a roll 90. I didn't make that up. I took that from Tony Villani, but it's what I like to call it still. It's a good name. So with the roll 90, it's a 90-degree cut. All right, that just means it's an in or an out break. Okay? If a coach tells you that no matter what, you make a sharp straight line cut at 90 degrees, they do not know what they're talking about, right? Because if you were running a speed out, you have to round it off, right? If you try to make a perfect straight 90-degree break when you have to do a speed out, when it makes sense to get out of there fast, right? That linebacker coming in who's breaking to the flats is going to pick it off every time, and you have no separation and you're not open anymore. So what we want to do is we're going to simulate a speed out. All we're going to do is we're going to start out at this cone. We're going to run 85%, just like we did in the last drill. And then as we approach this middle cone, and let's just say I'm rolling 90 degrees this way, I'm going to start turning my toes. Start turning my toes. And then as I get around this cone, my toes should be turned so I can roll to this cone. Okay? Again, this is all about getting out in a hurry. Okay? If you're running a speed out, you're a slot receiver, right? It is all about getting out to the flat as early as possible so you can get there before the linebacker gets there, or get there before maybe the safety's coming down to guard the flat, just the flat defender. So again, if let's just say we're rolling to the left, you're lining up on this side of the cone now, you're running, and then about a yard and a half before this cone, we start turning our toes, start turning the toes, and then we're full speed over. I would recommend having a tall cone at this middle cone, so if you do run over that cone, you knock it over. And you don't want to knock the cone over, right? You want to be perfectly around this cone as you roll. So I'm going to give you guys a full speed run through of this, of me rolling to the left. Okay, again, we're turning the toes, trying to be as smooth as possible going around. So we're right here, set, go. Turn the toes, and we're out of there. I'll give you a quick run through the right as well. Again, it's all about managing your speed. And then remember to get your head around right as you make that turn around that cone. So we're right here, set, go, boom, right there. All right, be intentional about how you turn your toes here and turn your hips and maintain your speed while you're going around that curve. So the last drill I'm gonna give you guys today is the 5 and back. This drill will specifically help you with your zig routes or your whip out routes, whatever you like to call it. Basically that route where you either break in at first and then you pivot to the outside. Some other people call it a pivot route as well. So all we're gonna do, simple, 5 yards down and back. But the footwork on this is paramount, okay? What that means is when we get here, we're gonna start out in our wide receiver stance, sprint. This time I want you to go about 75%, especially to start. You're gonna run up to this cone, and then you're gonna start turning your toes just like we did for the roll 90. But this time I want you completely square by the time you get to this cone, okay? Once you get to this cone, you're gonna push off this left foot and sprint back. That's all it is. It's about how smooth you are in and out of your break on this, okay? If you run up to this cone and it takes you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 choppy steps to get there, that means you went too fast, right? So that's why I want you starting off at 60, 70% when trying this drill the first time. So here's me doing it about 60%. I'm right here, ready, set, go. 1, 2, and I'm out of there, okay? And then as you get better at it, then you can go up to 75, 80%. Set, go. 1, 2, and I'm out of there. Okay, the reason why I say 1, 2 is because your second to last step is just as important as that sexy last step. I always call it the sexy last step because that's what everybody likes to do. They like to go right there when they run routes. But the problem is you have to have that second to last step to set up that sexy last step. So you're here, second to last step, last step. 1, 2, push off. All right, repeat that drill 4 or 5 times each direction so you can master your break on the pivot route, the zig, the whip out, whatever you want to call it. I hope you like these 3 drills. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to Cab Training, and let's get better today.